Part 2 of the Perdomo Exhibicion Sungrown in a Toro size. Here's the ash. I haven't ashed it. That's where it's staying at. You see the burn line isn't perfectly straight, but it's perfect. I mean perfect as in no problems. The ash, as you can see, is well over 2 inches. You know, good, well over 2 inches, probably 5.5 centimeters. It'll probably stay on for a little bit longer. Now the flavors, as you can see, I'm just about to enter the second third. The spice has died off a lot. It's still there in the back, but I'm getting more woodiness, more toastiness. Not so much cedar, but a nice wood, a nice cedar. I mean, a nice wood, nice and toasty. It's still nice and creamy. It has a little bit of sweetness now. Very silky, very smooth, very creamy. So the flavors have transitioned a bit. They haven't changed. It's just the wood has gone up, the spice has gone down, and now I can taste the sweetness that was there before, but it wasn't as strong. It's gone up a bit now. It's not a potent sweetness, so don't think this is going to be like a candy. But there's a tiny bit of sweetness that you will probably notice in the second third. See, the ash is still there, very long ash. See, lots of thick smoke. Oh, there it fell. It's in one piece. The ember's still there. Nice thick smoke. Good construction. When the smoke falls, when the ash falls off, take one nice long draw to keep the flame lit. As you see, that's what happens. You ignite it more. You give it more oxygen, because if you let the ash fall and you just let it sit or leave it alone, the flame could die. So as soon as your ash falls, so you won't have to light it again with the lighter and mess it up, take a slow draw from a nice long slow draw, or maybe two, to give it some more oxygen and let it get relit again. Because now you're exposing it to the wind and the elements. There's also a little bit of nuttiness. It's woody, nutty, real creamy and smooth. Smoke is nice and thick. Fills your whole mouth. You still have a little bit of spice and lingers for a while, but then it's gone. There's no black pepper though. It's just you feel the spice. You don't really taste it. So what, I'm about 35 minutes in. Just got to the second third. Pretty much, Perdomo is one of the few brands of cigars that I can smoke to the nub, because they don't get disgusting once you start getting to the last third. Most cigars, after you pass the band, that's it, they're done. They're disgusting, they're harsh. They've either died out, the flame has died out, or the burn is terrible. All the nastiness, all the build-up is stuck in the last third, so pretty much you can only smoke the first 2/3. But Perdomos, they stay good at least until the last third. You still have a good, you're not going to smoke it all the way to the nub, have a centimeter left. But you can smoke down a good portion of the last third. They don't get, super nasty when you get down there. I smoke all my Perdomos to the nub. To not be super biased, another cigar that I would smoke to the nub is maybe a Padron, a 1964. Those are pretty good until the nub, and maybe an Opus X. I don't know about a Diamond Crown, once I get to the nub, I throw it away. And it's a shame because they're so expensive and so nice, so premium. But I just can't do the last third. It's just, that's the end for me for a Diamond Crown. Now I haven't had the Maximus yet. I have 2 in my box. And I'm going to age and review eventually. Not for a while though, I'm going to leave that in there for a while. Since it's so super premium. And I have one that's in a special size that came in the sampler, in a 3-pack that comes with a special case, that they're unreleased blends and sizes. So I probably won't review that one because chances are you probably can't even get it. But like the Corojo that I reviewed, the Grand Cru, crop of '04, they don't make it anymore. That's just what I thought. But I asked Billy, and I asked Billy Perdomo, and he confirmed my fears. They don't make them anymore. I knew I shouldn't have smoked it, but at least I got to make a review for it. So if you guys have one, definitely, if you see it or if you have one, let it sit in your humidor. Save it for a very special occasion. If you find one, buy it because they're not made anymore. So yeah, that's a very rare. They don't make it anymore. Now they updated it, and now it's a crop of '06 Grand Cru. They don't make the '04s anymore because obviously they ran out of leaves from the crop of '04. But man, that was such a good cigar. I'm gonna go stop at the place I got it and see if they have any more. I hope they do. That was a delicious cigar. So what I was gonna say to you guys is, if you guys want to request and you don't have an account, you should make one. All you need is an email. It takes less than 5 minutes to make a YouTube account. All you need is an email, and not for you to give me likes or anything, but you know, if you guys have any reviews, you know, let yourselves be heard. I'll pretty much do any review. Since I live here in Miami, I can get my hands on pretty much any cigar, unless they're Cuban, because they're illegal here in the U.S. But you know, for you guys, take advantage that, you know, I'll take any request. If you don't have an account, make one, and put a little comment there, and leave a request, and I'll do whatever I can to do it as soon as possible. I'll do requests before what I have planned. So if I have a list of things that I'm going to be reviewing, but I'll put requests in before that. Here's a burn line. As predicted, it righted itself. Almost perfect. It's not razor. A few cigars are razor sharp, but very good. No problems, no burn problems. The draw is fairly loose, but not too loose. It's definitely not a hard draw. It's not like an eggnog or a milkshake where it's really thick, but it's not also like, you know, like a straw, like a drinking water through a straw. It's not super easy draw either. So it's about perfect, I'd say. It has a perfect amount of resistance. That's has a looser draw than some other Perdomos, probably because it's lighter pack. So that's probably what it is. Show you guys, I don't know if you can see the filler tobacco. It's a nice light brown. Like a chocolatey color. Another good thing about Perdomo, if you mess up when you're cutting it and you take off, you rip the shoulder apart. The shoulder is a part where the cap connects to the wrapper. It's called the shoulder. Sometimes when you cut it down too much, you just take the whole shoulder off, and that's what keeps it together. In some cigars, when you mess that part up, you mess up the shoulder. You cut down too deep, I mean, the whole thing unravels. But Perdomos, I've messed up sometimes cutting them. I went too down, but they've held together, despite me taking off the shoulder. That happened to me yesterday at the event. Perdomo's one of the few cigars I've never had the wrapper like unravel and, you know, stuff like that. I've never had them flower. And the ash, the norm of Perdomo is for the ash to hold on for well over an inch, and for the burn to correct itself. So I'm getting that cedar, that wood. The smoke is still real creamy and smooth, very smooth, and a bit thick. I've never had a Perdomo that has airy smoke where it's like real thin. I've never had that. It's usually nice and thick and creamy. And smooth. This one in particular, they're all good quality, but pretty much they're more high-end ones. are usually have a bit of cream in there. Just a tad of cream to like accent the other flavors. I'm getting a nice wood, a cedar. It's nice and toasty. The spices died down a lot. I would say it's still there, but it's subsided a lot. The spice is almost gone. The wood and the toastiness and the nuttiness has gone up. It's still, down all the way here, about half an inch away from the band point. It's not harsh in any way. It's not harsh at all. It's not bitter. It's not acrid. It doesn't leave any nasty aftertaste. It helps that I'm drinking water, but the water pretty much what it does is it refreshes your palate, so that when you take a new draw, if there's any transition, you'll pick up on it. It cleans your palate the same way milk does, and it has no flavor, so it won't distort the flavors. My next cigar I'll probably be reviewing is the Perdomo 10th Anniversary Criollo in Churchill. I have one of those in my box that I've left in there for about 3 months. Been aging it for quite a while, and I only have one, so I have to review it when I smoke it. So I'm around the 40-minute mark. I'd say I'm just about halfway. A little bit past halfway. Actually at halfway. Yeah, no, a little past halfway. At 40 minutes. So this will give me a little over an hour. Since I smoked them to the nub, I get a good hour and a half out of it, on average. But if you don't smoke them all the way to the nub, you'll get at least an hour 15 out of it. It's 6x56, I think. Yeah, 6x56. Their Toros are 6x56, and then they have their Toro Gordos, which their Toros, they either call them Toro or Epicure. I'm not sure what this one's called, but it's one of the two. It has to be. So, but if you want to compare it to other brands and companies, it would be Toro size, 6x50. But this one's 6x56. Usually, when you have a thicker ring gauge, it changes the ratio of the blend, so you get more of the wrapper in contrast to the filler. So if I was to have this cigar, I'm not sure if they have it in a 60 gauge, but if they do, it would change a bit. It would still be the same blend, but the wrapper would be more potent. The best thing is if you want to taste the cigar, if you want to taste the blend and what the flavors that were intended in the blend, you have it in Robusto size. There you get the perfect taste of what the blend was intended. If you start getting the ones that are in thicker gauge, or different sizes like Salomon, where they get thicker towards the end, and stuff like that, it'll change, the ratios of the wrapper to the filler. So it'll change the blend. It won't change the blend. It'll change the flavor a bit. It won't taste like the Robusto is the intended blend. Is what I'm trying to say. It's a short version for you to taste, to see what the blend was meant to be. Some cigars I prefer in the 60 gauge rather than the thinner gauge, because sometimes the wrapper is more appealing to me. So almost at the 45-minute mark, about a minute away. There's the burn line, nearly perfect. I've never seen a cigar that's perfectly straight line, so this is above average. For me, it's a perfect burn line because it doesn't affect anything. It's not bad in any way. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just not perfect, which I've never seen a perfect cigar anyway. The ash is pretty straight. It's not flaking. It's not flowering. It's a tiny bit of flaking, but again, that doesn't do anything. It's just purely aesthetic. Okay, that was Perdomo Exhibicion Sungrown. Until next time.